Hi, it's Mark from Mark of the Cyberbeast. Today, I'm going to have this episode entirely on me being pissed off at the range I have in my Cybertruck. Now, how did this happen and why didn't it bother me before? Okay, hear me out now. Reveal night, when Tesla showed the Cybertruck, okay, they showed 3 different models. And the Beast model, the 3-motor variant, was listed as a 500-mile range. And I believe the all-wheel drive, the 2-motor variant, was a 400-mile range. Now, I'm used to Teslas going 300 miles. I don't have any kind of range issues whatsoever, okay? Now, I know towing a load with your truck is gonna, be an issue. When I towed with my Tundra would get about 330 miles to the tank, but when I towed, that probably went down to about 250, maybe 225, depending on what I was towing, jet skis, a boat, etc. Okay, so I was okay with that. So I figured, all right, the Cybertruck's got 500-mile range, way cool. If I'm towing, it's probably gonna knock it down to 250. I'm used to that, no big deal. Well, obviously we got our Cybertruck and we see it's a 300-mile range, or if you got the all-wheel drive, it's like, what, 328 or something like that. When I charge it up, I think the maximum ends up being 293 at 100%. So I've learned to deal with that. I'm approaching 1 year. On the 22nd of this month will be 1 year owning my Cybertruck. Now, this morning I went to X, and evidently GM's releasing a new truck or two, a new vehicle. And this truck touts similar towing capabilities as the Cybertruck. A lot of similarities, a 17-inch diagonal screen, etc. No self-driving, of course, but 478-mile range. Now there's another variant, it drops it down to I think 380 or something like that. But 478, let's just call it 500 at that point. I mean, geez, right? So if GM can do it, why the hell could Tesla not do it? Now the only thing I can think of is this ultra heavy stainless steel exoskeleton from Tesla is weighing the thing down, okay? Now, they had that out 5 years ago when they released it. They showed the bulletproof capabilities, they showed, it's steel. And obviously the GM is not gonna be made of steel, it's gonna be more than likely fiberglass, some tin, aluminum, it's gonna be lightweight. Now the weight of that GM, I wanna say it's around close to 8,000 pounds, which is heavier than the Cybertruck. So what I'm thinking, and this is just Mark, is what they did is what Tesla probably should have considered, okay? There was no need to make that exoskeleton so thick and so heavy. I do like it, I like my polished steel, but did it really have to be that thick and bulletproof? Could they have knocked that thickness down in half or a third, still gotten some durability, not the same, but gotten some durability, and knocked the weight down 50 to 70%, and use that weight for the battery? Now that's what I think GM did. I guess Sandy Munro is going to tear one apart and we'll see, but I'm guessing that what GM did was they went with a lighter exoskeleton and they used all that weight. They recouped all that weight. And they made the battery twice as big because they don't have battery technology that's better than Tesla's. They don't do anything in-house. They subbed it all out. And honestly, from what I understand with the Hummer and what Sandy Munro did in the teardown, their battery, they really did some things that shows they didn't know what they were doing. But they know people are going to tow with trucks, and I bet they went ahead and said, you know what, let's double up on the battery, let's give people range, and guess what's going to happen? My thought is, when this GM truck comes out, first of all, it's going to give Ford Lightning a big run for their money, but number two, it's going to hurt Cybertruck sales. I said it. I'm the biggest Tesla fanboy there is. My wife and I are all in on their stock, and I mean all effing in, okay? I'm not happy. How did GM come to the party with a 500-mile range truck that's, what is that, about 50%? No, actually, it's about 60 or 70% more than the Cybertruck. Again, bulletproof is cool. I don't need it. I mean, I'm sure some people don't like me. My neighbor over here in the Keys doesn't like me. He's an asshole. Anyway, okay? But the thing is, I'm not getting shot at, okay? I'm not a rapper. I'm not in the mob. I don't live in a bad part of town. I don't need the bulletproof capabilities. They could have went with a thinner slice of stainless steel, which, don't get me wrong, it's cool. It's the same stuff they put on SpaceX, but it doesn't have to be as thick. I would have preferred if they used that weight for the battery, and they at least got me 400, 425. I wouldn't be as upset. Honestly, the 500, look, 5 years ago, when Tesla says it's 500-mile range, you would think, well, heck, if it's not coming out for 4 or 5 years, surely they've got this licked. But they didn't. They came out with a truck with 300 miles thinking it was like a car and everyone would be okay with it. Again, folks, I'm a 35-year truck owner. My Tundra would go 330 miles not towing anything. The Cybertruck, I don't get 330 miles, okay? I go a little fast. Obviously use Spotify, use the FSD. That takes away from the battery. Maybe I'm getting 250. 70, 80 mile difference. I wish it was a little closer, right? But when I tow with the Tundra, it goes down substantially. Now, I've only done local towing with my Cybertruck, so it hasn't really been that bad. Now, this summer, I'm driving the Cybertruck down to the Keys. Thankfully, I'm not towing anything. But if I was, I don't know. That difference of 300 miles versus 478, again, with towing, we'll call it an 80-mile difference, right? Because 180 mile spread, you're gonna lose half for towing. So basically, that GM is gonna go 80 miles further. That's at least another hour of driving, okay? And if you look at the 478 and you take a roughly 50% on towing something, that's 240 miles versus what I would consider 150 miles on the Cybertruck, okay? If you go on a trip, and most people vacation anywhere from 4 to 10 hours away. So we'll split the difference there. We'll call it 7 hours. That's gonna make a difference that is substantial. That extra bit, especially if you're taking your boat, most people do, they take their boat on vacation. They want to tour the area with their boat, whether it be Myrtle Beach, whether it be the Keys or other parts of Florida. Maybe it's Chincoteague and Assateague and the Delmarva Peninsula. Okay, maybe it's the Jersey Shore. I don't know, pick your poison, all right? But the reality is this, folks, 478 miles from GM. Man, they slapped Elon on that. It's got crab walk. Now it doesn't have four-wheel steering, but it's got crab walk. Oh, okay. They brought that technology back, put it in their vehicle, and honestly, from what I've seen, they also copy the 220 and 110 outlets in the bed. You know, I have to look at that truck a little closer. I'm not saying I'm selling my Cybertruck and going to GM. I've never owned a GM vehicle. I don't ever want to start at age 56. But that truck is going to put a hurt on Tesla Cybertruck sales. The question is, how is Tesla going to respond to it? Are they going to offer a lighter version of the Cybertruck, a Cybertruck 2, that's going to get the 500-mile range they initially promised us? This is my last day at the Keys. In fact, I'm leaving here literally after I shoot this video. Going up to Hallandale Beach, see my dad. I'm going to fly out of Lauderdale first thing in the morning. So here I am in paradise, and I'm a little pissed. Now, you shouldn't be pissed in paradise. I'm a little pissed. I wanted 500 miles. I would have been happy with 400. moderately happy. But then when I saw a GM with 478, folks, I'm just repeating myself here, that's how upset I am. And you guys never see me upset. I'm the happiest guy on Mark of the Cyberbeast. I'm the only guy on Mark of the Cyberbeast. Dang it! Okay, but normally I'm more optimistic and I'm happier. And especially when I'm in the Keys, I am one happy guy. A little upset right now. Don't have buyer's remorse, just a little upset with the technology. I wish Elon maybe talked to Mark the Cyberbeast, who's a 35-year truck owner, and said, hey, Mark, what do you think? What should we do? You know what I would have told him? We want more range. We're going to be towing. So now, driving down to the Keys this summer, I'm going to be thinking about that 180 mile more range that GM truck has, wondering how much quicker I would have got here. One less charge, two less charges, who knows? Anyway, that is my rant. That wasn't a video, that was a rant. But when I get home, I've got some parts to review for you. Some Cybertruck parts to beat the heat. I got some really cool ways to beat the heat in your Cybertruck. So, without further ado, folks, thank you for hearing me out today. I just had to get this off my chest. One of those things. Anyway, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and get pissed you don't have all that range. I'm gonna see you again tomorrow. See, there's my smile.